Hey, what's happening, everybody? So there's still a bunch of stuff to do on the van. It's mostly little stuff. I'm gonna start with, when I did the battery isolator, I ran the cable underneath the van and zip tied it in a bunch of places and stuff. And I don't want to do that this time. I want to bring it inside the van. I'm gonna cut a hole in the firewall and feed it through there and behind the back seat and along that wall right there. So the first thing I gotta do is remove the cable. So I got on my paint clothes here and I'm just gonna crawl underneath and cut all the zip ties and cut that sucker out. So anytime you're underneath the vehicle, I recommend three things. The first one is wear safety glasses, because there's all kinds of dirt and grime and grease and all kinds of stuff that can fall in your eyes. And as someone who regularly gets things in their eyes, it sucks. So wear safety glasses. And the second thing is probably want to wear gloves, because it's really dirty under here. And the third thing is to wear clothes. And the fourth thing, which I know I said there were three, but there's actually four, is you want to have some really good swear words handy, because you're probably going to hit your head on something. You're probably going to smash your fingers. There's all kinds of things that are going to happen down here, so have a couple good swear words ready. I like fucking son of a bitch, cocksucking butthole, and son of a... Alright, so I got it out. It took a little bit of, ew, what is that? It took a little bit of work, but I got it out. Now I got to drill a hole through the firewall, firewall, and feed it through. Okay, so I've identified this spot as, probably up a little bit, as the best spot to cut a hole for this wire. But in order to do that, I'm gonna have to remove a bunch of this stuff, including the battery, this fuse relay center, and I don't know about this box. I might have to remove the brains down here as well. We'll see. I'm gonna start by moving this thing into the garage because it's gonna be immobile while I do this, and the sun is starting to go down. So I'm gonna start by moving this thing into the garage and then removing all this stuff and get started. All right, so before I start removing stuff, the first thing I need to do is remove the negative battery terminal. And to do that, I'm using an open-end wrench that is short enough so that it doesn't touch the positive terminal and cause a short. You can damage your battery really bad that way, so I'm gonna avoid that by using a short enough one. And after I remove the negative terminal on the battery, then I'll remove the positive one, and then I'll start removing all the other stuff that's in my way. Alright, so once this battery is disconnected, then I can remove this this big fuse panel. There's two 10mm bolts right here. And, excuse me, I'll just remove those and pull this off to the side. And then I can begin to pull my battery actually out. Before I do that, there's this little piece sits on the bottom and holds the battery in. So now the battery's ready to come out. I'm going to set it on a piece of wood, not on the concrete. I don't know if it's true or not. I think it might just be an urban myth that if you set batteries on concrete, it's bad for them or something. I think I read that that was an urban myth. I don't know. Look it up. Make up your own mind. All right, so I want this thing to go in right under this thing. So I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to see if I can remove it all the way. All right, so it's now the next day. I had a buddy come over yesterday, and I kind of got a late start, so I wasn't able to finish this yesterday. But it's ready now, and I just want to thank everybody who watched my vlog and commented on it and told me to get new brakes. I ended up ordering them last night. I figured out how to do that, and I'll have new brakes before I take off to Salem. So anyway, all this stuff is removed. I just got to figure out where I want my hole, and I picked this spot because the other side, let me show you that real quick. Okay, so this spot right in here has no no wires in the way, so when I drill through, I'm not at risk of drilling through a bunch of wires and cutting them up really bad. So I'm gonna do it right in here, and there's this nice marker of this this piece of metal that comes out like this, so it'll be easy to tell on the other side exactly where I need to drill, which is about 2 knuckles width up from this corner. So let's figure out where that is on the other side. All right, so I've triple and quadruple checked and made sure that my where I want the hole is exactly where I want it. And I'm actually gonna drill this thing out from this end because inside the van is extremely uncomfortable to lay like that for very long. It'll be much better here, but I've verified that I'm not gonna be, even if the drill bit goes all the way through, it's not gonna hit any wires or anything. That's very important. And it's pretty thick. That firewall is pretty thick metal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step it down. I'm gonna start with the smaller drill bit, and then I'm gonna move to a medium one, and then I'm gonna move to a big one. And then I'm gonna file it all out so it's nice and rounded and it's not sharp. And if I had a grommet that fit, I would use that, but these brakes are actually like totally shot, and I'm not gonna be able to go to the store to get a new one. I could probably borrow a car or something, but I think putting sealant around the hole first and then feeding the wire through and then putting sealant around that to totally seal the hole is going to do the job good enough. But I probably would recommend that you use a grommet if you're going to do this kind of thing yourself. Alright, so now that the first little pilot hole is drilled, let's go inside the van and double check that it went in the right spot and that if I keep going I'm not going to drill through some wires or something. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so now I can continue with the other 2 holes and start feeding this wire through. Okay, so this hole is just a little bit too small for the wire to go through, but I used the biggest drill bit that'll fit in my drill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just kind of wiggle the drill bit up and down and side to side a little bit and remount that hole as big as I can get it so I can fit the wire through there. Alright, so I was showing my roots as a country boy a little bit there and doing it redneck style, but this is the right tool. This, I don't know, I think this is called a step bit. It might have another name. Check the comments. I'm sure someone will correct me. There's a lot of people that know a lot of stuff that watch my videos. So I took this and I laid it down on top of this wire and figured out how far down I wanted to go because I don't want to go all the way and have this giant hole that I have to try to seal up. I want it just big enough to slide the cable through easily. So I marked this and I'm going to check this out and see if this fits. And it's okay if it's just a tiny bit small. Because then, and I'm lucky my dad has all these tools that I can use. He's got this rotary burst set. I'm going to take this thing and clean up the edges and then take sandpaper. I couldn't find a round file. A round file would be ideal, especially like a fine one and like a medium one. But I'm going to take this and clean up the edges so everything's nice and smooth. I don't have to worry about breaking through the insulation on this cable, because if that happens, then this is high amperage wire. It's going to ground out on the frame, and then I won't be able to charge my battery. So, yeah. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see how this fits. And beautiful. Okay, now I'm just gonna clean up this hole. Anytime you're cutting metal like this, make sure you wear eye protection. Alright, so that's now nice and rounded off. Now I'm just going to get some fine sandpaper and just do the finishing touches and make it really nice and smooth. Now to do that, I'm going to use this drill bit and I'm just going to wrap the sandpaper around it. Just like that. And stick it in the hole. And then just pull it back and forth like that. And then kind of hold it kind of not straight in and out, but kind of sideways and up and down like that. And get it nice and smooth. Alright, now that my hole's nice and reamed out, I can start sticking my wire in. And I went ahead and wiped this thing down because it had been underneath the van for so long and just filthy. It was really dirty. And now it's going inside the van, so I want it nice and clean. So I'm just going to keep fishing this guy through like this. And I'm not going to hook this thing up to my isolator here. And by the way, you may have noticed I've got all this junk on the isolator. That's corrosion. That's because this sits right under the hood, and when it rains, this gets wet, which is a pretty bad thing. So I'm actually going to cut a piece of plastic to go over the top of this to shield it from water. Wow, this thing's long, man. Just keeps going and going and going. Alright, I think the way that I'm going to end up wanting this is down under here. And then back around. Get that little reach around here. There we go, just like that. So I'm actually going to zip tie this onto here so that when I'm pulling this thing through, I don't accidentally pull it through too far. All right, so now the routing for this thing. By the way, if anyone has any good ideas for anything that's really cheap to put on the bottom of this floor to insulate it, I would absolutely love to hear your ideas. I don't want to spend too much money on it. I can always replace it later. I wasn't able to find anyone that makes a rubber mat to put down though that would be definitely ideal. Let's see, is there gonna be room inside of this thing? No, there's not, so I'm gonna have to run it. Will it fit behind there? I don't think so. I think I'll have to run it. Okay, so this part just pops open like this, and it looks like there's just barely enough. Sorry, there's really no good place to put the camera right now. Then it just kind of fits in here, and then I'll take it through the back. Okay, and by the way, putting the 2 rubber feet on the front end of this fridge worked really well, because now I can just lift it here and pull it out, but it doesn't move when I go around corners. All right, so now it comes out down here, and I can fish it under here, and it comes out right here. Ugh. All right, then it just goes back under here. Now it goes back here. I'm gonna tuck all these wires kind of back so that they're never in the way. Alright, so now I can start putting everything back together as far as the battery in this fan, but check out what just came in the mail. This I found is the cheapest way. Some people suggested going to a welding shop or using jumper cables, but I got this whole kit. I got, what, 20 feet of 0 gauge wire in here for 20 bucks on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for this. And I got this using my old hammer method to crimp these wires. Got old, so I got a new crimper, and I'll show you guys how I use that. Wiring everything up is going to be the next video. Today is I still got some stuff to finish up, and I got to go mow for my dad. I told my parents I'd mow for him and do some yard work, but it is damn hot out here, so I think I might wait for the sun to cool down a little bit. I might wait for a little later tonight when it cools off. But I still got to put this thing back together. When you put a battery in, it's always positive terminal first and negative terminal last once you've got everything in place. And it's exactly the opposite when you take it out. It's take off the ground first, and the positive is last. Okay, so one more thing really quick. I've had a ton of people ask me about my new design as far as stickers. So I've got some test ones here I tested out. There's a place nearby that makes stickers. I'm gonna sell these for $5 each shipped, and I gotta run a pre-order first. So the first 10 people who order them, I'll also send you my old design, the Into the Mystery sticker, and a Love Yourself sticker, and give you 10% off at my store on a single item. So there is that. If you'd like to take part in the pre-sale and be part of this journey and this fan build, send $5 to intothemystery13@gmail.com as a friend or family, and I will send those out to you as soon as I have enough money to order the stickers. So thank you. Alright, so the final step is to seal this up. I got this clear RTV silicone. I think this will work just fine. I'm just going to wearing gloves. You don't want to get this crap on your skin. I'm just going to squirt a bunch out onto my fingers. Well, it looks like it's all sealed up. I'm going to have to stick a screw in here and clean it out. But squirt a bunch of this onto my fingers and swirl it around this thing. I think I'll get a paper towel in here and clean this up a little bit first. There's still a little dirt on there. And yeah, I'm going to actually touch up this other one right here where I got all these other wires and get this stuff all sealed up real nice, get the battery back in here, get everything back in, and move this thing out in the sun. Alright, so I decided to let the sealant dry all the way before I start putting stuff in, just in case it moves it and it breaks the seal. I want to make sure that it's totally dried up before I start putting the battery in and everything. I got a lot of yard work to do, and I think this video's already hit that 10-15 minute mark. So I'm going to call this a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. Oh, one more thing. When you're looking for what type of sealant to use for stuff like this, your first priority should be flexible, and your second should be mold proof. Most of the mold that was growing in my van when I had that problem was actually on the sealant. I don't know if this stuff's mold proof or not. I'll probably go back over it with mold proof stuff later, because the way that I got the mold, besides the back door, it wasn't tight enough, so it was leaking. It was this hole in my my firewall letting water in, and then it just got trapped under the carpet and grew mold. So yeah, so make sure you seal everything up real well. You might want to use that mold-proof sealant. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and next time we'll be wiring up all the electronic stuff in the living area of the van, or at least a part 1. So yeah, love yourself. Woo!